Oh, enterprise decision making in B2B. I mean, look, it's a time of tremendous change. Now, some of these tremors were seen, as Martin said, I think decades ago. You know, the role of the salesperson as the primary educator has been under fire for a couple of decades now. The
Hmm.
advent of AI, in the last 8 to 10 years, has really sped this up. I think that one of the things that's happened is we're at this time of incredible velocity. I know we all see new news articles every day with constant change in the software ranks. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, I'm sure. Um, but at this time of incredible velocity, at a time when it's easier to send an email, to create a document, to force things through to another step in the sales cycle, the only thing that's slowing down right now are sales cycles. Sales cycles are actually getting longer by a third to a half from where
Wow.
they were even just a few years ago. And we have a pretty strong thesis on why that is. And I think it goes to some of the points that Martin was making. Certainly, this notion that the buyers don't even connect with the sellers until 70% of the way of the decision cycle is absolutely what I've found as well. Part of the reason, though, I think, is that there are far more stakeholders than ever before. Back in the day, I think we all got the impression, especially from Hollywood and other sources, that if we did a really great job in a sales pitch, we could get the decision maker, hand them a pen, and they would sign it right there. Those days are long gone, if in fact they ever really existed outside of a used car lot. And now we're in a place where the ACV of 10 grand and above typically will have 3 to 7 stakeholders right out of the gate. And as you take that up in deal size, the numbers go up accordingly. We'll talk through some stories of this a little bit later, but with all those new stakeholders come new learning styles, new decision parameters, and new political realities for each of those stakeholders within their own organization. I think that what Martin said is really insightful. Sales reps who don't pay attention to that buyer's journey and that buyer map are really going to be behind the times, because now it's possible to pay attention to it with a far greater degree of fidelity than has ever been true before. I myself am thrilled about this progress. And we're going to the point where we're even mapping not just the map, but all the archetypes involved in the process. And we're really doing a lot of work to what we call mind the gap. If you remember your London tube stops, and think about what happens in between the meetings and what happens behind the doors that you're not invited into. And if you can
Right.
get into a position where you actually assist those moments, you actually can change both the sales cycle of the deal, shortening it, and also the conversion rate accordingly. So I think it's a really exciting time. I also think not enough people are paying attention to this dynamic shift. And I'm so glad that Martin wrote this book long ago that I could learn from, and I'm excited to be talking to you guys about it today.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on a couple of key things there that just really popped out, right? Velocity. We're doing a lot more things a lot more quickly, but yet somehow deal cycles are continuing to slow down, right? So, it just sort of strikes me that what we're doing is we're automating bad process or augmenting bad process with AI. So that's great. So, and in that whole context, Martin, you also mentioned that the customer is going to do this themselves, right? Like they're going to go through their own buying journey regardless of what they do. So, in other words, something about the salesperson has got to change. They can't just continue to be a pitcher, a seller, an influencer, cajoler, whatever you want to call it. So, how is a salesperson supposed to navigate this new world?